Сидите молодцами, войну не горячите лошадей.
The Cossacks remember the time when they were the fiercest cavalry in the Tsar's army. When they weren't fighting, they were farming the fertile steppes given to them by the Tsar. Risha Voznesenskaya joined them at the start of the annual harvest.
The Cossacks love the steppes, but they haven't owned the land since it was taken from them by the Soviets for huge collective farms. Now some of the land is privately farmed. But state or private, they still produce more food on these plains than anywhere in Russia.
The steppes stretch east across southern Russia from the western border into Siberia. 1,000 kilometers south from Moscow is the Black Sea. The Cossacks of the steppes live east of here, on land bordered by the Caucasus Mountains to the south and the Caspian Sea to the east. Like the Canadian prairie, it's a flat, fertile land that seems to go on forever. In the region near the Kuban River, where the Cossacks settled, they grow 1/10 of all our Russian wheat. It's mid-July. No rain has fallen since the long cold spring, and the crops have ripened 4 weeks early. A brigade of farm workers wait for the order to begin the annual harvest. 1,000 people work on the Niva-Kubань collective farm. During the communist era, small peasant farms were swallowed up into huge state-owned collectives. The state controlled what and how much should be grown. Now the members of the collective run the farm and share its ownership.
Значит, для того, чтобы ежедневно там, или ежесекундно, или ежеминутно не определять влажность на приборе, есть
There's an old way of determining if the grain is ready for harvesting.
влажности.
We take 3 stalks and crush them in our hands to separate the corn head from the stalk. If the corn head makes a crunch when you bite it, that means the minimum 13% moisture has been reached. You can harvest when it crunches. It's ready.
Бескрайная песня урожайная, расскажи о нас, и солнечный вода, храма просторный льется росой горная, и от яблок ловятся яблони сада.
Сейчас у нас полная самостоятельность.
We're now totally independent. We give the minimum amount to the state authority, about 2,000 tons, and make sure we find buyers for the rest.
Нашли покупателя, продали, не нашли, лежит.
This year we sent 800 tons of wheat to Belarus, in the west of Russia.
They also grow sunflowers on the Niva Kubani to make sunflower oil. Pensioners from the collective farm get some of their pension in sunflower seeds.
You deliver the seeds, then they peel them, then heat and press it, and extract the oil, and you get very good oil and pulp. The taste is good, very aromatic.
The husks are used as fuel. The kernels are cooked into a thick pulp. The pulp is filtered through muslin cloth. What's left is a fine oil that the farm can sell. In a nearby field, the cucumbers are ready to fill pickle jars all over Russia. The cucumber pickers should receive 8 pounds a week during the harvest. But because the farm is not yet in profit, they often don't get paid for months at a time. One reason things grow well here is because it's hot. It can often hit 40 degrees Celsius at this time of year. Summer droughts are common, parching the land. In winter, the temperature drops below zero, killing off diseases and breaking up the soil.
Apart from the summer heat, I wondered why the crops grow so well here. Farmers told me it was down to the special black earth, chernozem. It has a crumbly texture full of compost.
This is the best quality black earth. It began to form millions of years ago, when the grasses died and were washed into the soil. This happened year after year, building up a thick layer of black earth here.
The Kupchenkas are private farmers, part of a new breed who took advantage of an offer of free land from the government in 1991. So far, only 5% of farms in the region are run privately. The Kupchenko's main crop is wheat.
On a state farm, it's less personal. We work for ourselves. 3 of my brothers, a nephew, and our sons. We have lots of machinery and do everything for ourselves. We don't think that somebody will come and help us. And we know that if we work hard all year, then we will earn enough to keep us going. This year the grain is average. It's not bad. At the moment we aren't taking it to the grain market because there isn't a steady price for the grain. So we're forced to store it in our barn until we get a good price at the granary.
While the men bring in the grain harvest, Tatiana Kupchenko has work to do in the farmhouse.
I usually bake bread and cakes for my family, mainly bread in summer. This is dough. The flour is from the wheat in our own fields, not bought from the shop. Our day starts early. First I milk the cow, then take her to the fields for feeding. Then I prepare food for my family.
The private farmers have to keep a sharp eye on grain prices. As the Kupchenkos had hoped, they have risen. The farmer's son, Viktor, sets out for the town of Brukhavetskaya to sell 2 lorry loads of grain while the weather is good. When it rains, the country roads become impassable. Like every town in the region, Brukhavetskaya is dominated by the elevator, where the grain is stored. The grain prices are no longer regulated by the state. It's bought and sold on the free market. Farmers are offered low prices during the harvest. They have no choice but to sell. The grain would rot if they stored it for too long in their own barns. The grain can be kept in the elevator dry and free from insects for more than a year, and then sold at a good profit. The grain leaves Brukhavetskaya by train. It is bound for the Black Sea port of Novorossiysk and north to the flour mills of Moscow and St. Petersburg.
Late in summer, the Kupchenkas harvested their watermelons and asked me to help.
Ты положишь в это. Смотри. Ты замучила ее.
I could have eaten the whole truckload, But these melons were off to be sold at the market in Brukhavetskoe.
Every Saturday, there's a food market in the town. The produce comes from private farms or grown by collective farmers in their personal vegetable gardens for extra income.
The earth is good, but the main thing you need are hands and hard work. I grow everything on my personal plot. Tomatoes, aubergines, peppers. Cucumbers. This is basil.
Базар большой, ой, как все торгуют, за базаром кавалер барышню целует. Базар большой, пройду мимо, здесь не видно моей милой.
The harvest is in, and farmers burn the stubble. This year, yields have been good. For the Kupchenkas, it is time to celebrate their plentiful harvest, like farmers all over the world at this time of year.
Население, весь народ. И вот мы тоже фермеры.
In Russia, we have to feed the whole nation. Our farm can feed 2 villages with all our products.
Говорил, что мы можем 2 поселка здесь можем прокормить своих.
We all love the land. We grew up on it, walked on it in our childhood, and will love to cultivate whatever grows here, wheat, beet, and sunflowers. Maybe the time will come when we will be able to grow bananas here.
The Cossacks have been here for hundreds of years. They remember the beginning of the Soviet era and the invention of the collective farm. Now, the next generation are having to find new ways to live on the land that for centuries has given life to this community.